Welcome viewers to another interesting episode. Now today's discussion is a question: can black people be prejudiced towards white people in relation to the prejudice often directed towards them? Now in our discussion we are diving into this intriguing argument that suggests that the majority of black people do not exhibit prejudice towards white people. Now this could be because maybe us as black people do not benefit anything from this, or maybe it is because black people are usually the ones that experience this most of the time, so for them or for us it doesn't feel like a relevant venture to delve into. Before we get started with our discussion, we have lined up some videos that are gonna guide us through this topic, and then afterwards we're gonna go into the breakdown for the key takeaways and see what we have at hand. If you're ready for this interesting discussion, hit that like button and smash the subscribe button, and let's get started.
Humanity will never evolve to what we truly need to become if we keep giving ourselves reasons to hate another. I didn't give nobody a reason to do. People enslaved my people. People to this day have a system of white supremacy that's so strong. It's so strong. Have you seen the prison system or the healthcare system or the educational system or housing or the government? Have you seen any of that? And I'm creating reasons to...
Every single white person I've talked to about this eventually tells me I am too much. They eventually tell me I'm a race traitor. They eventually tell me, why should we worry about this when we didn't do it? And it's just like the disillusionment, right? Like there's hundreds of years of proof. Why you can't trust white people. There's hundreds of years of proof. I will never be personally bothered, right, by someone that does not trust me because I'm white, because there's no reason to trust me. There's no reason to. I came from colonizers. If I chose in this current society, I could be rich. I could exploit people. I could make money. I could thrive, right? But the choice is exploitation. The choice is ignoring the history. The choice is ignoring what the f is happening. White people hate that, right? White people hate being called. They love ignoring shit. They love ignoring shit. They hate being called on the shit they're ignoring. There is no ethical consumption under capitalism. Capitalism functions as a portion of colonialism. You are racist. You are. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for all of us that we have to unlearn racism. I'm sorry that we have to do that, but you getting mad at black people about it, you getting mad at indigenous people about you having to unlearn, hating them. That's not their fault. It's yours. You were so comfortable. You were so comfortable that you were like, oh, it's fine. Like, I actually 100% know that people are dying. I know that people are being murdered. I know that the prison industry is slavery. I know that. But it's not affecting me, so I'm fine. Everything's fine. I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna wait until it actually like personally affects me. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm not racist. I love everyone. I just don't want to be hurt. I just want to be protected. Yourself. Literally go yourself. I cannot imagine the level of cognitive dissonance. I have someone that I know personally who was connected to the reggae movement, right? He's a white man. and has been completely silent about Palestine. What the f is that? You're gonna co-opt a movement about liberation, to sing about liberation for a marginalized community, and then shut the f about what else is happening? Because you're comfortable. You're comfortable.
Before I go on my TikTok break, I just wanted to touch on this for a second. White people live in a culture of normalcy where it's just normal for them to be racist. Even if they themselves, even if a singular white person is not racist to you, they know that it's normalized for white people to be racist to you. Even if they're not themselves. That's why nobody really questions it. It's like, oh my God, another white person was racist black person. And it's like, duh. Yeah. Like, you can sit up here and try to deny it, but at the end of the day, everyone knows, like, yeah, that's a likely scenario. But if you say, you know, since this normal scenario that we've accepted, white people being racist, black people happens, are we also going to accept black people's apprehension to white people and interacting with them because of racism? The answer is always no. The idea that black people may want to keep themselves protected and separated from other people is unfathomable to white people. They think that we just want to invade their spaces. They think that we want what they have. They think that we are always craving whiteness. So the idea that black people react to race by not wanting to be around or interact with white people is, it blows their mind. And the same people who are mind blown about this fact have accepted that it's normal for white people to be racist black people, but they have not accepted the fact that black people may be apprehensive toward white people because of this race, as if, like, they don't connect or something. I need y'all to really, really sit with that.
Now, from the reaction videos, I think it is clear that the topic is mostly about how black people cannot be prejudiced or are to desist towards palm colors. Now, I for one, I've never met a black person that has shown signs of hatred or discrimination towards white people. But for the sake of argument and for the sake of this discussion, we're gonna dive into some insights that are gonna guide us through why I think it is impossible for most black people to show signs of prejudice or discrimination. And I must mention that the people that I have met that have shown signs of a certain feeling towards white people, to understand this perspective, let's look at the essence of black culture. In many African cultures, the core values revolve around harmony with nature and being true to oneself. There's an innate understanding that each individual has their own path to walk, their own beliefs to uphold, and their own truths to discover. It's a philosophy of acceptance and openness where diversity is celebrated rather than shunned. Unlike other cultures that may seek to impose their beliefs on others, like the palm colors, black culture encourages individuals to find their own truths and live authentically. There's no pressure to conform or to force one's perceptions onto others. Instead, there's a recognition that what resonates with one person may not necessarily resonate with another, and that's perfectly okay. And this approach fosters a rich tapestry of diversity within the black community, from different traditions and customs to varied perspectives and ideologies. Black people encompass a spectrum of beliefs and experiences. It's this diversity that makes black people some of the most diverse individuals on the planet. Now, to correlate this perspective or understanding to the palm-colored way, I'm gonna share an experience that I have, and from that I think we can draw some varied points. So recently I watched a clip from a movie depicting the encounter between Shaka, the Zulu leader, and white missionaries, presenting him with the Bible. Now, in that moment, I realized one thing. The missionaries had an aim to present the Jesus of the Bible to Shaka as the King of Kings. And then Shaka asked them, did this King of Kings have any battles that he won or any defenses that were so unique to have made him the King of Kings. Now, the missionaries argued and told him to say, no, he only had 12 disciples. Now, Shaka was intrigued by this perspective simply because the white missionaries presented this King of Kings who only had 12 disciples and ended up being hung on a tree. In that moment, I started realizing how the missionaries' aim was to force the narrative of their understanding of Jesus upon Shaka. And Shaka, because of his reasoning of being a king and of being a leader, he couldn't understand why some people would accept to be led by somebody that was not considered to have an army of his own or was not considered to have a kingdom of his own down here. Now, that is not the topic of discussion here. The point I'm trying to bring out is that the white missionaries' aim was to force their understanding on Shaka. No matter how much he argued, they said, no, this King of Kings is even greater than Shaka. Now, it's not just religion, but they also brought education through universities. And I realized to say they did not only want to be the epitome of religion, but they also wanted to be the fountain of education. Why? Because the palm-colored way is a way that wanted everybody in the world or all cultures in the world to be dependent on them. Unlike the blacks, unlike the Africans, whose ways were peaceful, whose ways were only according to how one relates himself with nature and how one understands their existence on earth. In this context, the idea of black people or Africans being prejudices toward whites is not only unfounded but fundamentally flawed. Black communities were the victims of colonization, subjected to manipulation and discrimination. So any response from black individuals is rooted in the legacy of colonization, and it's just a reaction towards the injustices inflicted upon them, not necessarily a prejudice or prejudice. With that being said, leave us your thoughts in the comment section and like this discussion if you found it interesting. Until next time, stay curious, stay compassionate, and keep pushing for a world where everyone's story is heard, valued, and celebrated. I'll see you in the next one.